Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is the first of maybe 3 times this fall that I'll be able to teach this or something like it. And this really all started for me. Maybe it was 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I started teaching something in my own real estate team, which United Home Group today operates in over 115 markets. 28 states and 5 countries, which just means I spend half my time going, that's awesome, and half my time going, oh my God, what do we do next? Like, how do we deal with all this? Which is maybe my first point for our conversation today. I really like the saying, and it gets credited to Mario Andretti of if you don't feel like you're about to fly off the track, you're not driving fast enough. And what's also not said sometimes is it's okay to be scared. Like it's okay to be like, oh my gosh, that's really fast. It's okay, and you're in good company if you are. But my point is, we were teaching this beat the seller Scrooge, and it showed up like in November one year, and we started to see how we had this. God, this had to be 2015, 2016, however long ago that was. Fewer showings. We had fewer showings. We had less sales. We had less volume. We had all these things, and I was trying to figure out like how do we keep momentum moving in November and December during the holidays, right? And it really put me on this track, this quest to go and look and see what really happens in the real estate market. And I'm going to make a couple of comments that are very general. And they're not true in every market, but they are true in the market overall, generally speaking. Generally speaking, the market is slower November and December. Now, if you live in a market where it's a snow city or people really are only there in the wintertime and they buy ski condos and ski chalets and cabins and like there's always those little micro markets, right? But the market in general sells fewer homes in November and December. The market in general sells fewer homes in October. The market in general has what we call in real estate a spring selling season. But there's more to the story than that. That just means sales numbers. It also means that the greatest time for a seller to be on the market very well in most markets, and you need to go do the math, that's one of the 7 things I'm going to talk about today, very well might be during the holidays because there's less competition. And remember, like one of the old sayings in real estate is that you're in a price war and a beauty pageant. Like that's one of the oldest sayings to talk about our listings. And if you're in a beauty pageant and you want to win it, the fewer contestants you've got that you have to compete with, the better you might do. But you almost have to take everything that we think and turn it on the side if you're going to do an incredible business in October, November, and December. The other challenge is some of your greatest opportunities for business building, some of your greatest opportunities to connect with your data bank is during October, November, December. But if you're not ready for it, it's going to come and go. And you and I both know that the majority of what you and I do, the majority of what we touch, has an 80 to 120 day lag before any results show up, before anything truly happens. You and I know that, which means and I won't count the days, but you're already in 2022. Your business is already in 2022 quarter one. Quite frankly, what you're doing, and more importantly, what you're not doing right now, has already teed up the majority of Q1. It's probably already teed up half the year of 2022. Depending on the size of your business, 2022 may already be kind of in the books. Interesting when you think about it like that. Like I get a front row seat, and we've got people on here from all different brands and all different franchises, and I love it, and it's good. Like I'm wide open to that. That's what I want. But I'm KW. So I get a front row seat to watch what Gary's doing. And when I get to do that, what I see him doing is working on 2025, 2026, 2027. And he's like, listen, like this is where my attention needs to be. And then these years just become buckets of what I have to do to achieve those years. And it kind of goes back to the old saying, which Gary has said and others have said too in different ways, that we tend to overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can do in 3 or 4 years. So as I go into this, and this all moves very quick, like I'm going to have you out of here in 20 or 22 minutes. It moves fast. You'll also get the recording, so you can go back and grab different pieces if there was one thing or an idea. And there might be an idea that you hate, and that's cool. It moves so quick, just wait a second, you'll get a different idea. But you might want to start thinking, okay, I'm not happy with this part, but maybe in 2027 it could look like this. I just need to do it at this level in 2021 or this level in 2022. So keep that in mind. Like, where you begin is not where you end. And I love the old saying, and I attribute it to every piece of my life, that you don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to ever be great. And you can't beat somebody who won't stop. And so when you think about your business and you think about what you're going to do, like, I was asked to come and speak somewhere, and they were like, hey, we want you to come and talk about how to end 2021 strong. And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. If you wanted me to talk about ending 2021 strong, we probably should have been talking in Q1 of 2021, because that's just how long all this shit takes. Like, you start something new in your database, you start a new geographic farm or a sociographic farm or whatever it is, right? You start a new internet lead generation platform or whatever it is that you're doing, and it takes 4 months for anything to happen so that you can go, oh my gosh, I got to do it this way. Oh, I need to pivot to that. And then it takes another 2, you get my point, right? I said, if you want me to come and talk about starting 2022 really strong, we can do that. They ultimately decided not to book me as a speaker, which is completely fine. They didn't like what I had to say, which is okay. All right, let's jump in. This is in no order of importance, but here's the 7 or 8 things that I'm telling my own group, this needs to be locked right now. And some of these things you might not even have time for anymore, and you might just go, listen, Code, I can't do all of it. I'm going to do 1 or 2 of these, and that's cool. And then maybe you just make a reminder. I've got reminders in my phone. It sounds stupid, but I've got reminders a year out that are 4 months in advance. Oh yeah, remember to do this. Because I know that if I don't, what changes next year from looking like this year? I've been in real estate for over 21 years now, and I can't tell you how many times my Christmas letters didn't go out in time, and so my Christmas letters slid, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make them Happy New Year letters instead, and then my New Year letters didn't go out, and I'm like, maybe they'll be Valentine's Day, and I'll tie it into Valentine's Day and be my Valentine in my database and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden nothing goes out. If you've been a realtor for any amount of time, I'm going to guess you've had a similar experience. If you've been a realtor for any amount of time, my guess is you've maybe bought some Christmas cards and you ended up recycling them. Or you bought some Christmas cards and you're like, you know what? Let's not print the year on these, because I printed the year on a different one and they never went out and I couldn't reuse them. So maybe you're a little bit like me there. All right, so here's the deal. It's October in 2 days, so let's get into October, right? By the way, most markets have that automatic, what we call a back to school slump. It's just really common, whether it happens in August or it happens in September. Whenever your market has back to school, there's almost always a small slump. It's almost always a few less sales. And I'm not even sure that's wrong right now. Our market is so weird most of the country, but it has already started to slow down a bit. And you and I both know as real estate agents, really having our finger on the pulse of the market, that the first signal of a slowing market is not an increase of ADOM. It's not more average days on market. That's a lag measure, not a lead measure. A lead measure is showings. But in most markets, it's really hard to track showings. There are some markets and there are some MLSs across the country that you can go into and go beep, boop, 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 and you could actually track how many lockbox opens there were. Not most markets. Most markets you can't, or it's very difficult, which means you have to go by a feel, or you could look at only your own lockbox rates. And if you have 1 or 2 listings, it might not help you. If you have 100 listings, that might be enough to say, okay, here's a test subject for my market. But showings would be a great indicator, a great lead indicator. And then you have multiple offers, and it's very hard. Most markets don't track multiple offers. Most markets don't tell you in the MLS, 88% of all listings sold last month with multiple offers, because that data doesn't really get recorded anywhere, which goes back to you having to have your finger on the pulse of the market. And many areas in the country today, the agents are saying that they're seeing less multiple offers. The house is still selling for full price or more in a lot of areas. The seller is still very, very firm on price and condition and what they'll do or not do in many, many markets. However, the agent is selling the home with 2 offers, and they're like, really good for my seller, really good for me. I only get paid once anyway. But it's interesting because 4 months ago, I would have had 22 offers on this house or 30 offers on this house. My home base, like my hub team, is located in Portland, Oregon. And this week alone, in one of our Portland agent Facebook groups, I saw 3 posts that said I was able to get my buyer accepted, and we had no other offers. That didn't happen 3 months ago in Portland. Like, we were listing homes that probably shouldn't have had offers, and they were getting multiple offers. And so you just start to like build this idea of, okay, you begin to see it slip, right? And that's not bad. But remember, if you've been driving 100 miles an hour, even 80 is going to feel slow. And one of the things that Gary Keller always says that makes me stop and think is, you don't prepare for the market you're in, it's too late. You prepare for the market that you're going in. All right, so back to October, right? You've got one of the greatest opportunities to be in touch with your data bank in October. But October comes and goes so fast, like it always freaking does. Like, it's almost Christmas time, 2021, and I feel like maybe I'm different than you. I'm not, but I feel like the older I get, the faster everything moves. It's like somebody made a comment about Christmas shopping the other day, and I was like, Christmas shopping? Dude, it was just the first of the year. But it just begins to slide, and it goes so fast. And October's going to do the same. All right, so here's something. I want you to ask your question to yourself. How do you help people during Halloween this year? And I just want to reframe how we do business, right? Instead of saying, how do I find more leads, or how do I get my name out there, or how do I this, or how do I that? Let's just go with helping people. Like, I love when an agent writes in a business plan, and you should have a business plan for next year. It's a different conversation, but I love when an agent says, listen, my job is to help 200 families this year, instead of selling 200 homes. And for some of you, the words are interchangeable and it doesn't matter. But for some of you, there's a percentage that the moment you go, wait, my goal is to help 200 families, you get way more attached to that, just internally, like in your brain. You're more attached to that than saying, I'm going to sell 200 homes. Some of you, it doesn't matter. But after coaching agents for years and years and years, I'm telling you, it makes a difference to some. To some, that's the one little thing that changes everything. So how do I help people during Halloween? And I'll tell you, my personal opinion, just my opinion, is that it needs to be better and it needs to be stronger than stapling your business card to candy. My opinion, anything's better than nothing, but that's cheesy. Just my opinion. And there's an agent out there that's going to say, Cody, that's garbage. I've always stapled my business card to little Snickers bars, and I've had 2 listings come from it. Of course. You could put a sign on a donkey that says, follow me to list your house, and you could walk that donkey around your town, and sooner or later somebody will follow you. Doesn't make it a good model. It just means it'll work at some level. And I'm telling you, like, I would go something better than that. Whether you're going to do personalized bags, or whether and a friend of mine does Halloween bags and sends it out to his database, but it doesn't have his logo on it. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to put my logo on it because I think it's cheesy. I'm just going to send the bags to my data bank, and they're going to know where the bag came from. He goes, I'm not hoping that someone sees a Halloween bag and goes, I think I'll call that realtor. They look good. He goes, that's not going to happen. He goes, this is just an easy way that for $1 a piece, I can get a nice bag in the hands of all of my people, and they're going to remember that I touched them during Halloween. So that might be one idea. And from there, here's my point though. Halloween is the smallest of these 7 or 8 that I'm going to give you today. But my point is that if you don't have that done right now, it's not going to happen between now and the end of October. And if it does happen, you're going to have to race, and you're going to have to order it with overnight shipping and pay extra. Really, this could have been done in June. This could have been done in March. Like, you could have ordered this overseas, and someone's going to send me a message saying, quit ordering stuff overseas, keep your business in the U.S. I understand. I get it. That's cool. But you could have ordered this overseas and paid just pennies for really nice bags if you could have ordered them back in April of this year. Which means my first point, my first lesson today in this is, you might say, I'm not going to do anything for Halloween, or I'm going to do this much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a reminder in my phone, in my calendar, in March of next year to take care of Halloween. If you take nothing from this, take that. and throw that in your calendar. Unless you're getting out of the real estate business next March and you won't be here next Halloween, this is smart. And at some point, you've got to start doing something different to get a different result. But the bigger thing is, if you'll do something around Halloween, you'll do something massive for Thanksgiving. You'll do something massive for Christmas. You'll do something massive for Hanukkah. You'll do something massive for, you get my point? Like if you'll do it for Halloween, what I've learned is if you'll do it there. Also the whole back to school piece, right? There's a bunch you can do with back to school. All right, so let me go back to the fall. No matter what, in every single state in the country, it's fall. It's true. And every single state in the country, there's things that every homeowner should do in the fall. So one touch to your database could be, and this has to be, like this needs to be personal to the, why some words are hard to remember. This needs to be personalized to the city or the market that you sell in, right? Because in the Northeast, the fall looks different than the Southwest. And what you should do to your home in the fall looks different in the Midwest than it does the Southeast. So it's got to be personalized to your local market. But you should be sending out the 5 or 10 things that every homeowner needs to be doing in their home, like cleaning out the gutters, because it's going to, like I live in the Northwest, it's going to rain its ass off until April. Like we have beautiful summers, but it's going to start raining and it's not going to stop until April. And so we should be sending out something saying, hey, reminder, get those gutters scooped, get those gutters cleaned out. Oh, by the way, and this is where the brilliance is. I've got these 2 contractors that are great at cleaning out gutters, and they're only $150 per home. I've already prepaid a third of it for you. It's only $99 when you use my name when you book it. Now, stop everything just for a second on that. I want you to write this down. Your greatest currency is going to be in relationship and influence. It's not going to be in money. And so if you go to someone and you go, listen, I need to find a couple of great gutter cleaners. You call 2 or 3 of them, you have a conversation, maybe you have them clean your own gutters so that you could make sure that they actually do a good job. One of the things that I've done, like with my vendors that I work with, like one of the vendors I work with that I think you should too is Land Voice. Like we get the majority of our data for homeowners from Land Voice. Anyway, you can go to their website and they'll give you a great deal if you use my name, but I don't get any money from it. But for me, it's like Michael Jordan. Like if you're going to wear the Nikes, they need to actually work. And so if I'm going to get a gutter cleaner, a gutter scooper, I'm going to make sure they clean my gutters to make sure they do a good job. I'm not going to send somebody to my database who does a bad job. But here's my point. You say, listen, it's let's say it's $150 to clean the gutters for the typical house. And you go, great, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your gutter cleaning name. I'm going to use your business name, and I'm going to send it to 1,000 of my people. Someone's going to book you. And when they do, I need you to only charge them $100. I need you to discount it, and I'm not going to write a check for the 50, but by me putting you in front of all those people, whether they use you this year or next year, that's where the money comes from. And when you talk to a contractor like this, one of them says, yeah, I'm not interested in that. And you go, no problem. And you talk to the next one. You talk to him until you find the one who has a business brain. And then you put the deal together. What I've also learned is that whoever's cleaning gutters in the fall does something else in the spring. This might be your pressure washing person that you send out in the spring to people. Here's the other point. Remember, your greatest currency is going to be trading influence. It's not going to be dollars that you spend. But your database, what they see, and here's what you should do. You should go online and you should make your own little coupon, make it yourself. And you could even show that to the contractor and say, hey, here's what I'm going to use. It's got my logo on it. It's got your logo on it. It looks very official. It looks like something somebody would keep and give you when you come out to clean their gutter. You can throw it away. You don't need to send it to me. It's just a piece that I give to people, right? But when you do this, you get the win of A, creating a touch. B, you're not asking for a damn thing. You're not saying, hey, when you think about selling, call me. You're not saying, hey, when you think about buying. Nope. You're just giving, giving, giving. When you turn the corner with your database to where you just give, and you're never really asking, you'll learn you don't need to ask very much. They know you're a realtor, and you've got your name all over it. They know that you would like them to call you when it's time to list or buy. They already know that. You don't necessarily have to build a lifetime business of saying, hey, please call me when you need me. Hey, please call me when you need me. By the way, that will work. It's just most people won't do it for very long because they don't like it, because it's not fun. And so I really want you to look at this and go, great. So but I want you to think about it like this. And this goes with everything else we're going to talk about today. touch number one. We're still talking about cleaning out gutters at people's houses. By the way, that might not be your thing. Your thing might be, you know what? I'm in the Southwest. We haven't used our heater all damn summer. And so I have a great HVAC person, and I can send her out, and she's going to do an HVAC inspection for the fall, and I've already prepaid 50% of that for you. Again, you're not writing the check. You're paying. Your greatest currency is relationship and influence. And so maybe that's your play, or maybe it's checking your roof, or maybe it's checking the hose bibs, or maybe you just go and find a general contractor who's good at like all those little odds and ends, and you say, hey, this person's going to come to your house. Here's what I've learned walking through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes or thousands of homes. Here's the 8 things that you need to do every fall. And I'm going to send out Bob. Bob's great at this, and Bob's going to do these 8 things. And by the way, I've already paid for these too. And that maybe is unscrewing all of the hoses so that when you have your first freeze, it doesn't break a pipe. Like there's 100, again, it needs to be special. You get my point though. So touch number 1 is sending it out. Touch 2 is the second touch saying, hey, and this could be email, or it could be snail mail, or it could be a note, like whatever it is. It could be Facebook, like it's your choice, right? But the second touch is, hey, I sent this out a couple of weeks ago. If you didn't see it, or if you were like me and you just got busy, there's still time. There's 10 more days to take advantage of it. You're probably busy. Do you want me to call and connect it for you? Then touch number 3 is later in the year saying, hey, did you ever use Bob? Now you've got 3 touches. You've got 3 touches that none of them say, hey, please think of me when it's time to buy or sell. They go way deeper than that. They go way better than that. And that stands true for all of these ideas for the fall for you. And so whether it's a fall contractor, or whether it's taking care of something, or maybe you live in a wet climate, like in Alaska. When I sold in Alaska, a great idea for the fall would be to have someone go out to people's homes, like sump pumps, the thing that pushes water from your basement or your crawl space outside your home. Super common in Alaska. Like a bunch of homes have sump pumps. And you're like, what the hell is a sump pump? If you don't need one, then you don't need to know. But that would have been a great idea in the fall to say, hey, we'll have your sump pump service. Like we'll send somebody out. It's easy peasy. We'll clean it out. And again, you could pay for that, or you could pay for a portion, but don't you dare pay with money. You pay with influence. You pay with marketing. These contractors and businesses, like having your roof checked, these guys aren't amazing at marketing. They're amazing at being a roofer, or they're amazing at cleaning out the gutter, or they're amazing at resealing the deck. They're amazing at those things. You're supposed to be a master at marketing. But being a master at marketing needs to go a whole lot deeper than putting up a yard sign and writing something in the MLS. Do you feel me on that? All right, so your database gets addressed. Think X percentage paid, or a credit, or you just tell the contractor, listen, you can't charge them full price. You got to give my people a deal. Same thing for holiday lights. And some people like this idea and some don't. So if you hate holiday lights, then you're a Scrooge. But if you hate holiday lights, then just interchange this with something else. I love holiday lights. I love Christmas lights. And so go find 2 or 3 Christmas light installers. And by the way, now's the time. They're already booking up. They're already getting busy because people begin putting up Christmas lights the 1st and 2nd week of November. Now, maybe they don't turn them on until Christmas, or until Thanksgiving or whatever. But these Christmas light installers, you'll be shocked how early they start booking up, which means you've got to be in touch with them right now. And then you go to your data bank and you say, hey, if you're all about Christmas lights, use these 2 guys. They're awesome. I've used them before, and I've prepaid for 2 free strands of lights, or I've prepaid for 25%, or whatever it is that you work out with the holiday installer, right? By the way, the first year, the deal won't be as good. Year 2 and 3, the deal will be better because you will have shown the person how many people you can put in front of them. And they probably do more business than just hanging holiday lights because they can't do that 12. You're getting my point. Your job is to connect people. And when you connect people, you selling more homes becomes a byproduct of that. It becomes the result of it. But if you don't have that set up right now in October, you're not going to do it in November. And by the time you call the Christmas light installer, even right now, might be too damn late. You'll find one, but it's going to be too late in 10 days. If you're anywhere near Halloween, they're going to say, dude, I don't need you. I'm already booked November and December. I can't give a deal. I can't do a discount. I can't even take on more people, which means you got to do it right now, which also means if it's too late in your market, or you wait 2 weeks and you don't do it and you say, God, Cody, it was a good idea, didn't do it, then you put a note in your phone for next July that you go and find those people. And it just pops up and you go, oh yeah, that's right. Christmas is still coming. It's July. You get my point. All right, the holiday lights. Now, one of the things I like to do with like the holiday lights or cleaning out the gutters or doing things around the house is offer it, I call it the third party offer. The third party offer is this. And you could choose to do it for your whole database. You could choose to do it for a portion of your database. You could choose to do it based on just calls or whatever it is that you want to do. But imagine that you've done a good enough job in your database that you actually have people delineated. And you go, cool, I'm going to send out, we'll take holiday lights. I'm going to send out the holiday lights thing. By the way, create the coupons for it. Make it look official. You create the coupon, send it out. Then you call, you check in, you go, hey, did you see it? Do you have any questions? Are you going to do it this year? That's so great. Then let's say that you go, Cody, I've got 100 people in my database that are really, really special to me. They get more from me than just emails. They get more from me than just a text message. By the way, the more you could move to text, the better you're going to do with all of this. Many of my agent friends are already moving their entire touch campaigns to text because 92 or 93% of text messages get opened and read, whereas only 11% of emails get opened. Let me say it again. 11% of emails get opened. Big business will tell you 11% gets opened. We don't know what percent get read. Like that's impossible to track. We just know they opened the damn thing. That doesn't mean they read it, which means sometimes the email that you kill yourself over to write just correctly or just right, only 11% open anyway. Move it to text. Move it to text. All right, back to my idea. The holiday lights idea. So you call your top, let's say you call your top 100 people and you go, listen, you're one of my best clients. And what I've done is I've reserved a few as gifts. Is there anybody in your world, let's say you're talking to someone, and you go, is there anybody in your world that you would love to gift this to? And I'll do it for them too. Like I know that I don't know them, but the same deal that I did for you where I paid 30% of your holiday light installation or whatever it was, I can extend it to one of your friends or someone in your family. Is there anybody you want to give this to? And I'll take care of connecting it. It's a gift from you. I'll use your name. As a marketeer, you already know where I'm going with this. If 100 of them, and they won't all do it, but if 15 of them say, you know what, this would be awesome, give it to this person, that's 15 people you just had an incredible third-party endorsement from. And by the way, how'd you make that person feel when you said, who's important to you that you could gift this to? Is there somebody new at work? Is there someone who just moved here? Remember, you are paid in proportion to the level of questions you ask. You are not paid in proportion to how much work you do necessarily. There's lots of people who do a ton of work that don't make very much money, especially in your business and my business. You're paid with the questions you ask. So the holiday light is another 3-touch deal. You got touch number 1. You got touch 2, reminding them. You got touch 3 with a subset of your database that are really important to you. Like these might be your actual like real inner circle like Gary teaches, like your core advocates. It could be 10 people, like you choose, right? Maybe this year you go, Cody, I'm not that well put together. I'm going to do this with 3 people. And I don't need a giant system to keep track of 3 people. Awesome. I'll bet if you do it with 3 people on the fly this year, you'll do it with 100 people next year with the system. Great. You got to start somewhere. Most of us are waiting to start until we have some grandiose plan. Well, that doesn't work. You'll never start. Don't wait for that. You start and you let the grandiose plan build itself. All right, so you got, anyway, back to the touches, right? I don't know how I got on that tangent. Yeah, touch 1 about the holiday lights. Touch 2, reminder, hey, if you haven't used this, you probably only have a week left. Do you want to do it? Do you want me to connect it for you? And then touch 3 with your core advocates would be, hey, is there anybody you'd like to gift this to? And I'll make sure that it gets gifted to them in your name. And awesome. And then touch number 4 might be later in the year. Hey, I'm just curious, did you use the holiday installer that I sent? I want to make sure that she did an amazing job. She's been awesome with everybody else. Did she do great for you? Now, the important thing here is that you send that touch. If you sent it out to 1,000 people, you send out that touch to follow up to 1,000 people. You know 1,000 didn't use her or him, but what you're doing is you're teaching people that you follow up. You follow up. You follow up. And you're also showing them a whole bunch of my people used them, and so I'm kind of surprised that you didn't, which sets the tone for next year. And by the way, it's your 4th follow-up. It's your 4th touch around holiday lights, proving and providing value without ever having to ask for business. You're not saying, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell? Which is fine. That works to varying degrees, but this is funner. This, I don't know if funner is a word. This is funner. This is more interesting. This is something you could sink your teeth into that many of you go, yeah, that I could go do. And we're just talking about the fall. You can actually do this stuff all year long with 100 ideas. Another one is housekeeping. Now, housekeepers are hard to find right now. They just are. But if you've got a great housekeeper, this might not be one that you send to your whole database. This might be one that you send just to your core advocates. What if you were to say to your best housekeeper or your two best housekeepers, and you need to have, I mean, as realtors, we have a stable of contractors, right? Like we've got the electrician we love, and we got the 3 electricians we call when that electrician's too busy. We got the housekeeper we love, and we got the 4 housekeepers we use when that one's too busy. Like you and I already know that. But the number one time for housekeepers to get new business is November and December. This is the time that you introduce your housekeeping businesses that have additional room for more clients to your people. And again, maybe you say, listen, if you'd like to have your house cleaned during the holidays, it's the number one time to hire a housekeeper. If you just like in January, all the gyms you know and all the personal trainers you know, you become a connector of people. And this is so much more fun than just saying, gee whiz, when you think about real estate, think about me. Anyway, that's for a different webinar. This one would be for housekeeping. This is the time that you go and do it. And maybe you pay a portion. And again, you don't pay with money, you pay with influence. Your greatest currency is influence. Remember it. And so maybe you do housekeeping. The next one would be like Thanksgiving. People get really worked up around, do I send out Christmas cards or New Year cards? And what if I sent out Christmas cards and somebody in my database, because of where I live or geographic or my sphere, like maybe they don't celebrate Christmas or I'm worried about offending or all this stuff. And to all of that, I say, be you and do you. So I don't think there's any wrong here. But I will tell you this, as a marketer, I'd rather be the 1 card they get than one of the 8 cards they get. Let me prove my point. They are probably going to get a card from their insurance agent for Christmas. They might get a card from their dentist for Christmas. They might get a card from so-and-so for Christmas. You know who they won't get cards for? Thanksgiving. Very few get Thanksgiving cards. And of course, for you and I in the business of real estate, it's very easy to tie Thanksgiving and thankfulness and gratitude. You already get where I'm going with this. But I want you to think about a marketeer. If you send a Christmas card and it gets to someone's house on December 15th, number one, you'll be really proud of yourself because you've been a realtor for 11 years and you never got Christmas cards out in time, so hooray, you'll be really happy. However, there's 2 types of people. There's the card keepers and there's the card throwers. I'm a card keeper. When a card comes to my house, I feel weird throwing it away. Like I'm the guy that the Christmas cards start showing up about the 2nd week of Christmas, and I line them up on like my kitchen counter. Or if they come to the office, they get taped up on the door. You already know what this crap looks like. And I'm the guy who keeps it. I'm like, oh my gosh, cool, look at this, look at that. Well, the card throwers throw away cards. They go, oh, that's nice, and throw it away. So what? The card keepers keep them. If you get a card out to people on November 24th, or the 22nd, right before Thanksgiving, whatever the Thursday is this year that Thanksgiving is, probably the 24th or 25th. If they're a card thrower, same value. Oh, nice card, trash. If they're a card keeper, they're going to put it up on the kitchen counter, or they're going to stick it on their door or whatever. Well, by the first week of Christmas, by the first week of December, they're going to start getting their first Christmas cards from anybody they know who's not a realtor that gets their shit together on time and sends it early. And so by the time they get that first Christmas card, they're going to put that at the same place the Thanksgiving card went. I hope you get where I'm going with this. The same cost for a card and the stamp might get you a 6-week staying power from the 20th of November all the way through January when they start throwing all of their cards away. You might get to hang out on their counter or on their wall or on their door for 5 or 6 weeks, compared to the same cost for a card and the same cost for a stamp that shows up at their house or their business on December 18th or 16th. Do you get my point? It's the same expense, but you might get 5 or 6 weeks of being up around them. Just think, this is where as a marketeer, you've got to squeeze every bit of juice out of what you've got. And by the way, if you do Thanksgiving and something slips and it all goes to hell, it can become a Christmas card. You're still safe. All right, next one. pumpkin pie giveaways. Like one of my favorite realtors on earth is Kristen Cole. I love her. You should follow her on social media, by the way. And one of the things that KC does really, really, really well is the pie giveaways. The challenge is what you might find is that you go, I don't want to be the person that gives away pies. I don't want to set it up. Like there's a bunch of teams that do a pie giveaway at Thanksgiving and they will tell you they earned 50 referrals from it. And they make it a big event. Like they do this whole thing and people come to get the pie or they come to deliver the pie or whatever. And you might hear that and go, I love the idea. I don't want to do it. It's just not my bag. It's just not my thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say this, be really careful choosing things that you don't like. I like holiday lights, so I'm all about the holiday lights. I really don't love Thanksgiving pie. And so no matter how good of an idea it is for my business, I don't love it. Like I don't automatically have an affinity to it, so I'm not going to do the extra work. But I love Christmas trees. And so let me give you an idea around the Christmas tree. By the way, the pumpkin pie, like the giveaways, there are some amazing agents to follow. If that's your thing and you want to buy those pies from Costco and have them done, or if you want to make them, or if you want to do them at a local bakery or whatever, I will tell you that people like it better if it comes from a local bakery than they do over Costco. And I will tell you that if you call those local bakeries today, you can get them for almost the same price, maybe 50 cents more. Like Costco's not going to give you a deal. They don't care if you buy 1,000 pies or not. You're not getting a deal at Costco. But if you did 1,000 pies at a local bakery, you would get a deal. And you could probably get it down to almost the same price or maybe 50 cents, enough that it makes sense to use a local baker. Oh, by the way, that local bakery, maybe they want to buy or sell a house. You get my point. And so this is where you just get really good at talking with people about real estate. And you squeeze think about when you were brand new at real estate. You talked to everybody, which is how you got your career going. And then at some point you quit talking to people. And then you're like, shoot, how come I don't go back to that? All right, so back to the Christmas trees. The idea of I don't care about pies. And so I don't get that involved, but it's a great idea if you want to go do it. My thing, last year we gave away in Portland 50 Christmas trees. We bought these 50 trees, and we did this thing where we said, listen, on these days, you can come and pick up your tree for free. We just want to have Christmas trees at people's homes. I love Christmas trees, but I grew up in a family where I didn't have a Christmas tree some years. And so this is what I mean by choose things that you care about. I'm just giving you a bunch of ideas. Choose things that you care about or come up with something you care about. And so this year we're going to do, we hope, 200 Christmas trees. And we're going to do a better job. Last year, we just had like a U-Haul van, and we used our real estate office address and said, hey, come pick up the trees. And we did okay with it. We got rid of the trees, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But this year, we can order the trees sooner, get a better deal, get the trees delivered to us for free. Last year, we were a little bit late and had to go pick them up, but you got to start somewhere. But this year, we're looking for a lot somewhere in Portland where we can get the business owner to let us use their lot 2 or 3 nights or 2 or 3 weekend evenings or whatever to like set up what looks like a real Christmas tree, like where you would go and buy one. But there we could do like free hot chocolate and free, the hot apple cider, and we can actually do something bigger than just, hey, here's a tree out of the back of a van. But we couldn't do that last year. And so you start with what you can, and then you get better. I love Christmas trees, and so I love the idea of it. So I have an affinity for it. I don't have to force myself to go do it. If my business did holiday pies, I would have to force myself to go do the holiday pies. So I'm not going to do it. You could, if you like the idea, but pick the things that matter to you. And if maybe this year it's 5 trees. Maybe you go, Cody, I love the idea of trees. Cool. Maybe what you do is you just post online and you say, hey, if there's anybody that you know who's struggling and a free Christmas tree this year could help them, call me. No questions asked. Totally, I won't use anyone's names. You just call me and I'll take care of it. By the way, you could do the same thing for like those Thanksgiving boxes, right? And remember, the person who's organizing gets the credit. What you might do is you might go to your local food bank and say, hey, what do you guys need for your Thanksgiving boxes this year? You know what they look like. They're a box with everything you might need to do a Thanksgiving meal. And you go, great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 1,000 people in my data bank, and I'm going to let them know that this food bank needs it, and I'm going to offer to come and pick up the boxes. You know that you're not going to go to 1,000 doors to pick up the boxes. But if you did, it'd be the best 1,000 doors you could be at. You'd make time for that, because that would, you can't find a better pop by than that. But by you asking for it, by you telling them, hey, our local food bank here in Havasu, we need these things in the box. Here's what they're requesting. If you want to put it together, I'll come to your house and pick up the box and I'll go deliver it myself. You get all the value. And by the way, if you don't like Thanksgiving and you don't like giving food to people at Thanksgiving, don't do this. But if that touches your heartstring, go do it, because it's going to show up, man. People like authenticism. But then you get all the value, even the people who don't do the box. Remember, you're the person that was saying, hey, here's the box that we need. I'll pick it up. I'll take care of it. By the way, if you're short on time and you want to Venmo me $30, I'll buy the box for you. I'll go to the store and pick all the stuff up. You just Venmo me the $30. There's 100 ideas around this, but if you don't have those things in place today, you're not going to do them. It's going to come and go, and all those ideas are going to stop. Now, here's the next one. I want you to have a holiday marketing plan, and we're going to end in about 3 or 4 minutes. I want you to have a holiday marketing plan before you need one. All of your sellers in the fall are going to think, should we come off the market? Go and look at the stats. Go and do the stats for how many homes go withheld from the market. They're still listed, they're just withdrawn. It always shoots up in November and December, always, because it's a pain in the ass and nobody wants to show their house. It's just the truth. And so before it happens, you need to be able to go to your sellers and say, hey, I've got a holiday marketing plan in place. Now, the way you do one is you write out 6 things on a note card and poof, you have a holiday marketing plan. Don't make this complicated. One of them, though, is going to be what I like to call the squeeze showings. Squeeze showings are where you say, listen, after November 10, people are busy. And I don't want you having to worry about people traipsing through your home or calling you when you got the Christmas tree half put up or any of that stuff. And so we're only going to allow showings on specific days at specific times. So you squeeze the showings. It's like a river that gets smaller. By the way, if you're fishing in a river, the smaller the river, the better chance you'll get your hook or your bait in front of the fish. It's also the better chance you're going to have multiple people looking at the house at the same time. If you only offer 2 windows for showing for the week, Tuesday at 2 and Saturday at 3, it's the best chance to have 2 or 3 buyers at once in the house, which as the listing agent, you would love 2 or 3 buyers in the house at once, because they look at each other in the house and they begin to compete. Like, are they going to write an offer? Am I going to write an offer? Maybe they want it. You know how this goes. Now, the agent showing the house, they hate having 2 or 3 buyers in the house at one time. Of course they do. But you're the listing agent in this scenario, so you do what's right for your seller. And by the way, you do the specific showings, you squeeze the showings. If a smart agent goes, hey, those 2 times don't work, they're going to call you. You're not going to lose the opportunity, but you're going to make your sellers go, whew. And you're going to alleviate the challenge of them being worried about someone calling them on December 24th at 8 o'clock to see their house, which people don't do, but that's what they're worried about. And so you tell them, hey, before we ever get there, here's the holiday marketing plan. We're going to take care of it. Here's what we do. And maybe you have 5 things or 6 things on that. It matters. Trust me, it matters. And that holiday marketing plan, you begin talking about it now. Part of it is you say, listen, some people are just not going to do it. Even though I show them, and you could pull the stats and show them how there's less buyers and there's less sellers in November, December. True, almost 100% of the places on earth. Certainly in the country. But the people that are active are incredibly motivated. So go and pull the stats, and I'll bet what you're going to find in your market is that the best time for your seller to earn the highest price is November and December. Now, the dialogue around this, and you might want to write this down, can we allow the price to buy you through the inconvenience? It is inconvenient, no doubt, but can we allow the price, and I'll show you the stats, can I allow the pricing to buy you through the inconvenience? If I could make you 2% more on your home, is it worth the inconvenience? And by the way, my holiday marketing plan eliminates the majority of the inconvenience, or at least makes it palpable, at least makes it okay. All right, stats in your 4th quarter talked about that. You start your campaigns in 2022 right now. So whatever it is that you want 2020, I'm just going to say 22. Whatever you want 22 to look like in your business as far as touches, it needs to happen now. And I'll tell you, we're moving as much as we can to text. If you watched like the last political campaigns, I'll bet you saw more text messages than you did emails. Because these people that are paid to run these campaigns know you don't give a damn about your emails anymore. You care about your text. So you begin to think, where is the ball going and how do I get in front of it? You'd prefer to text. I know that you would. All right, I'm going to leave you with this. Pick 3 things that you should have done last year or the year before. Write them on a piece of paper. You've got great ideas too. I just gave you some, but you've got great ideas on your own. Pick 3 you should have been doing already, and then look at them, cross out 2 of them. Pick 1 of them and put it in play this year. If you could put 3 or 4 things in play, awesome. If you can't and you can just do 1, you know what? It's the end of September. 1 thing between now and the end of the year is better than no things between now and the end of the year. If we're not connected on Instagram, I'd love to connect there. I'm constantly posting and putting stuff up. Cody Gibson 1, if we're not connected there already, please, 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 love to have you follow there. Cody Gibson 1. And then there is, I wrote an ebook a couple of years ago called The 7 Steps to 10 Listings. And we've taught it now to over 200,000 realtors. If you want to check that out as an ebook, you can download for free. And the website is just 7stepsto10listings.com. You can download it for free right now. And so take a look, check it out if you'd like. Thank you so much for being here. I told you 25 or 30 minutes and we went 48. I'm sorry we went a little bit late. I hope you had 1 or 2 good ideas or 1 or 2 good things. I haven't been able to watch the chat because it's 10 feet away from me and my eyes aren't that good. So if you heard something you loved, it would just honor me if you were to post it online. You don't have to use my name. You can tag me if you want, but my idea is if there were a couple hundred people on here and you said, hey, I'm going to do this in my business, or here was an idea that I had, and another realtor sees it, you don't have to tag me. You can if you want, but if they saw it, then maybe they weren't even on this webinar and their business can move forward. That's how I could leverage what I do. And so together we achieve more. It's just who we are. All right. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Have an amazing day. If you see this being posted or hosted again by me this year, please feel free to pop back into it. It will look different because if I do this again the end of October, I can't talk about Halloween. It doesn't matter. I'll be talking about Thanksgiving a little bit, really Christmas, really the New Year, and then really in January. What I've learned, though, 21 years into this, there's a handful of things that set up our entire year if we do them right. So please feel free to pop into the next one. This was recorded. There was a couple hundred people that couldn't make it, so this gets recorded and sent out if they were registered. I'm going to quit talking. Thank you. Have an amazing day. Good luck.